Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 26th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see British Columbia, Washington, Oregon to the upper right here. You can see the Hawaiian Islands to the very bottom left. Here's our next storm system developing out over the Pacific Ocean. This is going to bring some wave action, some strong winds for some areas here, some mountain snow, and some thunderstorm potential for the next few days. And we'll take a look at those details as we go through the video this morning, taking a look at what happened with the Doppler radar yesterday. There was actually a thunderstorm that did kick off there northeast of Portland, and we had some shower activity across a lot of southwest Washington as well. Some convergence on activity continuing on in through this morning also, and you can kind of see it continue off mainly north of I-90 there across the McKing and Snohomish County this morning. And that shower activity is going to continue on through some of the day today as you can see the next storm systems start to arrive out over the Pacific Ocean. Take a look at Seattle yesterday, 52 degrees, 56 is the average high for this time of year, 2/100 of an inch of rain. And it looks like, well, we had about 64 was on the record high, kind of a lower record high there. You can see for the next few days, the records are well up into the 70s, including 78 back in 2004 on March 29th. If we take a look at the thunderstorm outlook today, they are including Spokane just off to the east of Pendleton, much of Idaho, and some of western Montana. As we go through day two, you can see we reintroduced that thunderstorm threat. So this is for tomorrow for some of the coastal areas, and this may move inland as well. May get an upgrade here for either tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday. We'll be watching that closely here. Now, taking a look at the day three right now, it does not include Seattle or Portland, but it is still in the coastal areas and some of the interior areas. So we'll be watching that over the next couple of days. Seattle National Weather Service also calling attention to some of this thunderstorm threat here. Some small hail, locally heavy rain, and some lightning out there Wednesday afternoon and evening. And that may again occur Thursday, and it may eventually include some of the interior areas as well. So here's Spokane National Weather Service thunderstorms today, Thursday afternoon and evening. Gusty winds, small hail, and I think they mean snow pellets here. Graupel is not an official precipitation type and often causes much confusion with what type of precipitation is falling from the sky. This was issued this morning. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station, click on that link down below to save 10% off. All solar powered and wireless, ultrasonic anemometer, lightning detection system with it. Highly recommend that station. So let's take a look at the North American model. It's a high resolution model. You can see the convergence zone activity kind of continuing on into this morning. Some of these showers continue on mainly kind of northwest of Seattle across some of the Port Townsend area, out over some of the Puget Sound here. And then you see the next system start to roll in here as we go on in through tonight and on in through Wednesday morning. Frontal system cast across the area, and you can't rule out a thunderstorm as we go across some of the interior areas for tomorrow afternoon as well. You can see some of these interesting showers moving across some of the Puget Sound, and then this cold air aloft is going to roll in here through Wednesday night on in through the day Thursday. So there's probably going to be additional thunderstorm potential as we go on in through Thursday afternoon, and that's about the time the North American model 3-kilometer resolution wraps up. So if we look at total snow in inches, we are going to be building up some of that mountain snow. It was from some of the convergence zone activity this morning. And then as we go on in through Wednesday, you can see additional snowfall amounts. Nothing too extremely heavy and not a lot for Snoqualmie Pass. I was hoping we'd get a little bit better snowfall out of this over, I've been talking about this for the last few days, but, we have to take what we can get. We don't have any control over that. We have to take whatever Mother Nature wants to throw our way. So now looking at the upper levels of the atmosphere, I like to show the temperature aloft to kind of give you a visual diagram of what is going on, but you can clearly see the next storm wrapping up off the coastline here, introducing this very cold air aloft as we go through Wednesday and Thursday, and that's going to keep a thunderstorm threat going maybe all the way on in through Friday here. This is the European last night. It goes all the way through Friday afternoon. The storm system is going to move down the coast and impact California as well. So looking at 100-meter wind speeds here on last night's European, you can clearly see our mid-latitude cyclone bringing some breezy conditions, the coastal areas, maybe some southeast winds. Doesn't look like anything too extreme for many locations, but we're going to keep some of those gusty winds on in through Thursday also. As you can see, the low kind of fill off our coastline, merge and move down and impact California as we go through this weekend. And if we take a look at accumulated max 10-meter wind gusts, we're not seeing anything too crazy. Some gusty winds for the coastal areas, maybe up towards southwest BC and some of the interior areas here as well, but nothing too crazy. No region-wide windstorm by any stretch of the imagination. Look at significant wave heights. So check this out. We're dealing with a relative lull here across a lot of the west coast, but that is not going to last. As you can imagine, the storm system's really going to spawn some big waves, especially as we go on into Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon from Vancouver Island all the way down through California eventually as we go through this weekend. Then we get another bit of a break here. We may start to warm up as we go through this following weekend on into the early portion of next week. We'll take a look at that here in a moment. Looking at lightning flash density potential on the European as of last night. So we're going to scroll through today here. And what I want to point out is mainly the threat on Wednesday and Thursday. Here goes Wednesday afternoon. You can see some of this activity for Western Oregon, Western Washington. Can't rule out a thunderstorm here, especially the coastal areas. And then we're going to go through Thursday and kind of do something similar here again as well. And this includes much of BC, Eastern Washington, Oregon, Idaho as well. And then we'll go through Friday and I'll show you there's still some cool air aloft here that might kick off a thunderstorm or two again. But we'll be breaking that down day by day. Now, taking a look at the European on the left versus the GFS on the right, we're going to take a look at the extended forecast a bit. There's our initial storm system here. And then you can see as that moves down to California, we start to build some ridging on both the GFS and the European. So that could start to warm us up here a bit as we go through the end of the weekend and into early next week. And then we've got some big model discrepancies showing up. The European, a little bit of troughing coming down through British Columbia, a strong ridge across the Gulf of Alaska, and big differences start to emerge here versus the GFS and the European. Which one are you rooting for here? As the European would definitely probably be the warmer solution, as you can see the ridge right up the west coast of North America here versus some deep troughing right off the coastline on the GFS. So big disagreement as we go through the extended on into the early portion of April. Looking at the national blended model, so you can see we do warm up a bit here as we go on in through Friday. This is tomorrow, actually Thursday, 2 days from now, because today is Tuesday. And as we go through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the main reason why I'm showing you here the national blended models is because the warm up that looks like it might be coming towards the end of the weekend on in through early next week as some of that ridging finally starts to build in here. As you can imagine, in the meantime, when we're dealing with the thunderstorm activity, we're going to be right around average, maybe a little bit below here as we deal with the cool air aloft. But looking at the European, this is last night. So let's look at the timing of this a little bit here. You can see that frontal system starts to roll in as we go through Wednesday morning. This is Wednesday late morning right here. Frontal system swinging through as we go through Wednesday afternoon. That cold air starts to rush in here. And you can see the low pressure system is going to be filling off our coastline here as the next one develops for California here. And yeah, so we could have thunderstorm potential on into probably about Friday before we start to dry out as we go through the weekend and on into early next week. Taking a look at total snow 10-to-1 ratio. This was last night's European as well. Let's see what it says. Put it in motion here. And here goes Wednesday's system. We're going through Wednesday morning now, and we do build up a little bit here. Beggars can't be choosers. We're below average for, much of the area here except for Oregon. And, so we could really use the mountain snowfall here, but it looks like the totals aren't going to be that impressive when you take all things into consideration for the Pacific Northwest Cascades. And here's the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. You can see the above average signal here across much of the Pacific Northwest as we go through April 4th. There's a 6 to 10 day, kind of a below average signal here as well, except for portions of Idaho and Montana and maybe extreme southeast Oregon. And 8 to 14 day, not much here, not giving us much there. Some below average across the Southwest. 8 to 14 day precipitation to bullseye Southwest and near normal across the Pacific Northwest. So anyway, yeah, pretty dynamic storm system coming in here. The big story of this might actually end up being some of the wave heights and some of the thunderstorm potential here as we go through the next few days. And we'll break that all down again tomorrow. Yeah, not seeing much of a thunderstorm threat today. There's still some of that convergence zone activity going on, but these clouds are going to be spreading in here as we go through tonight and tomorrow morning. This frontal system is going to be right off our doorstep here. You can see this even has a bit of a subtropicals tap with it as well. But we'll break everything down again tomorrow. Hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.